5 Minutes with Maurice, final segment of this particular episode series, Financial Politics, Alternatives, and Change. Again, I'm running a donation-free campaign, versus the typical political route, whereby in the last political election for presidential cycle, $2 billion were raised, and we delved into that in the previous segment. But my curiosity of the cost of politics, why politics cost at all, and leading to this episode where I would like to gloss over a couple of alternatives, actually, two alternatives, including my alternative, which is to completely mitigate the application of finances-induced politics altogether. So, we talked about previously qualified candidates, who makes the rules for qualified candidates, and who makes the system where your participation in changing that system. We'll delve into those aspects a bit later. But the entire public versus private funding we looked into just a little bit as well. The rules for how you use the money, or what qualifies as a campaign expenditure, are the same. However, the using tax dollars to fund your campaign disqualifies you from the private funding route that allows, if you are a super PAC of the private funding route, you're allowed to generate as much funding as possible. So there's a grave disparity between using either of those. Regardless, each route is a flawed route in a political campaign. So we reviewed in the last episode some key examples of questionable expenditure items and some commonly criticized practices. But why do we have a system that is dependent upon politicians raising money? Why is traveling, meet and greets, showcase debates where apparently questions are raised to candidates and supposedly all the advisors apparently are dead, so you have to make an independent decision? Why is that the system that we have settled upon, particularly in this country? So, one alternative, because ostensibly in the current system, the more money you have, the greater advantages you're going to have if you're playing the same political game as your opponents who are going that route. The Brennan Center for Justice has created an option that mitigates the disparity between small donations versus large donation options. And I won't get specifically into how that operation works, but it's a matching system where small donations have to be matched by large donor contributions. My problem with that is they've come up with a solution, but the solution targets the mitigation of big money donation, but doesn't cure the matter of money being involved at all. So what I have created alternatively is a system that functions more like jury duty, because in my opinion, who the politician is shouldn't matter so much as the system that allows for the people to dictate what the rules are, the construct, and limited application of power. So if you've ever shown up for jury duty, you know that if you get selected, you might get a meal voucher for lunch. You have to show up, and you're supposed to receive payment as well. I've shown up twice for jury duty, never got paid, but you're supposed to get paid on the federal level. There's a different amount that you get paid for versus local and state jury duty participation. But in Milwaukee, where I did participate, we didn't even get free parking. So whereas there is a provision for employers to pay you for showing up for jury duty, employees aren't required, nor should they be, in my estimation. But working for myself, I showed up for jury duty, not only didn't get paid, however that's supposed to work out from quote-unquote government, even though government is supposed to be us. Not only did I not receive payment for showing up for jury duty multiple days, I also had to pay for parking downtown. So I lost money to participate in government. So it looked a lot different as a regular citizen participating in government versus what we have constructed, the system we've constructed for politicians and other supposed public servants. So the system I created and am still building is a general government platform and application. Now it's for the public, so I'm not trying to keep it secret or anything, but the thing is I'm going to try to do a better job of keeping into the 5 minutes here. You're welcome to ask me about how it works or how to get involved with it, but wouldn't you prefer a political system where the candidate doesn't matter, where money isn't involved beyond facilitating the election itself? So my point is, public service for regular citizens looks a lot different when regular people are asked to pitch in. In any case, do you prefer options being dictated to you or decided by you? Why does finance matter at all to how we fill office positions, including things like court judges? I don't think it should. Maybe it's just me. Rethink government. That's 5 minutes with